Alrighty, guys. So it is going to be the warrior coming out here for fourth Kitkatz and Cruel Taskmaster Whirlwind here. He's probably going to hold on to that Cruel Taskmaster, I would imagine. Oh no, he's not going to. Okay. So
yeah, he's searching for weapons in this matchup.
Okay.
And Kor'kron Elite. And Shield Slam is really important as well, because you actually just spend your first couple of turns armoring, and it allows you a 1-mana answer on your third or fourth turn for something like Animal Companion, which is one of the most troublesome cards that Warrior has.
For sure, makes a lot of sense. Now, with that Cruel Taskmaster, is it not that valuable, for things such as the Starving Buzzard and so on and so forth, or is it just not really that much of a concern?
It can kind of go both ways. A lot of it's just going to be seated in the specific context, like where your turns pan out. I actually would like to see Gnimsh mulligan strictly for Savannah Highmane here because it's so crucial in this matchup. Just rely on the fact that you're going to draw some sort of early game minion and find your Savannah Highmanes, because without Savannah Highmane, it's so hard to win this matchup. But with Savannah Highmane, it can so many times just be a breeze to beat it, because you just have this hyper efficient minion that replaces itself. Like Karen is one of the worst cards for Warrior, and Savannah Highmane's like super Karen.
They just never have any silences
Right,
really
so
to deal with it.
he Gnimshes the Savannah Highmane, of course. He knows he's going to draw it. But this is one of those positions where we're talking about where keeping Shield Slam is so important, because even if he makes a Huffer, he puts himself back at 30, and he gets to kill it.
Yep. Yeah, which is very nice, but still Huffer not too bad there in that situation. And he is going to have the turn 5 Highmane with that coin, unless he wants to do something else here. So, do you just think you could drop the Houndmaster without buffing, but I'm sure you kind of would like to have that, for the buff up. So, okay, wow, coin. What would he be going for?
This indicates to me that he wants to play Timberwolf and Houndmaster it.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't mind seeing something like Starving Buzzard and Timberwolf, just to draw a card. But Starving Buzzard's pretty important in this matchup as well. If you can manage to trade your Highmane on a turn where you can play Starving Buzzard right before you do it, you can get a lot more cards from it. So I don't mind this play either, because this is going to force out some removal for Kitkatz, and he's looking forward to playing the Savannah Highmane uncontested.
Yeah. Now, what kind of the turn? I guess that it does set up some different options for turn 5 as well. It'll be interesting. Faceless Manipulator being in hand is pretty nice against the Savannah Highmane. That seems like that is actually a pretty reasonable answer to it. So that's something that he could obviously keep in his back pocket, but he doesn't really have a great way to remove this stuff. Because the Timberwolf got buffed up, Kor'kron Elite doesn't kill it for free. You can Armor Smith, you could drop the Acolyte and just end your turn. And I think that looks like that's what's going to.
I like Armor Smith and Acolyte here, but this is one of the pitfalls of playing Warrior, is when you find yourself in a position where you've drawn 2 or more of your late game legendaries.
And he got unleashed for a card draw.
Right.
How do you feel with that?
It puts a big muck in your card drawing effect from the Warrior perspective. And here, I really like using the Buzzard Unleash. It's hard to get more value from these cards in this matchup. This is going to put 2 cards on the board. You're going to be able to efficiently clear your opponent's threats. And
so he's going to do Hyena Unleash, and he's just going to try to buff up that way. The one issue with this is it seems like it gives him a lot of armor, or it gives him a lot of card draw. He's probably just going to hit them into the Armor Smith, I imagine. It is going to give him some card draw, some armor though, and then he can clear it obviously with a 3/3. This is pretty reasonable as well, and it is making a very strong Hyena. Now, if this stays on the board, it's obviously going to pan out very well for him. Do you think this is more of a risky play than just going for the Buzzard Unleash and just getting the card draw guaranteed?
It is more of a risky play, but what he's seeding this risk on is the fact that he's got Savannah Highmane. So again, oh my gosh. That's a good draw, but his purpose of making the play this way is to force removal spells. And
Big Game Hunter.
Oh my gosh, 2 fantastic draws back to back.
It's got to be the Big Game Hunter, I feel. But you could, if you brawl and the 7/4 lives, isn't that like game over?
It's gonna be a 9/5 at that point. So it's a pretty bad position to be in. You don't want to be paying that much life. So hard pressed, I think, to find something other than the Big Game Hunter here. But this is sort of again what we were talking about. Kitkatz wasn't able to remove these 3 health minions. So Gnimsh's read on this position is that he doesn't have any removal spells in his hand, so I'm just going to force my position onto the board. I don't disagree with that, but what you're sort of relying on also is that your opponent doesn't draw the right cards. So if Gnimsh gets Gnimshed, like he's about to be done here, this Savannah Highmane is his last resort in terms of how to make up this position. So when Kitkatz answers with something like Faceless Manipulator, oh my gosh!
It's the last one in.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
That was an error, and I think it was too. I would have loved to see Big Game Hunter come out here. Oh my gosh, and a second Savannah Highmane. This is disastrous for Kitkatz, because now Faceless Manipulator isn't even a good answer anymore.
That just seemed like such a bad play. That just seems so risky to me that it was just like he top decked a Big Game Hunter against a minion that just got buffed to 7 damage, and it's like, just seems like the perfect answer. And sure, yeah, you can do it now, but you just took 8 damage instead of taking no damage from it. And now, what the heck do you do against the high main?
It's a rough position to be in because, caveat to that, he's also lost his Brawl at this point.
Yeah.
So now, Gnimsh feels comfortable flooding the board, and outside of drawing a string of extremely powerful removal spells, you're going to see Kitkatz lose control of this game. So I think this is perhaps sort of like it's one of those plays where 66% of the time your Brawl works out really, really well, but 33% of the time it works out terribly. So I would have liked to see him use the Big Game Hunter instead, again, because the Big Game Hunter is challenging the 3-2 on the board, and it also challenges the 4-3 if he can remove the 3-2. And he has Execute in his hand, so it's not like unreasonable to be using Execute on a 3-2 and taking out the other minion. But now in this position, how does he recover?
I don't know, man. And the thing is, I mean, he could even, if he wanted, he could even do so much damage this turn. You know, theoretically, he could have even Leroy kill commanded, and he would have been able to do 12, 17. He would have been able to do 17 damage that turn. So next turn is almost guaranteed death. He's at 14 HP. There's a Leroy kill command in his hand. He also has a Houndmaster for additional 2 damage. So this is. I think this is basically lights out. There's almost no way for him to deal with this. Yes, he can execute off 1, but he has no way to clear the small minions. You can go Corcoran Elite into 1 plus the Acolyte. The other you can do Big Game Hunter plus an Execute, but then you're left with 4 2/2s that you can't do anything about. And then there's the charge from Leroy and the kill command. So either way, this is game. And I really have to feel like he just got way too greedy not using the Big Game Hunter there. To me, that was really shocking.
Yeah, it's a mental misstep, no doubt about that. And so it shows you how much focus you need to be having in these games.
Yeah.
This is a blunder, but even Kasprov's given away its queen at some point.
Yeah.
So this loss, you're very disappointed to lose in this position, but you have to be going into the next game. You have to forget about what's just happened, and you move on and play the best you can because you're human. Mistakes are unavoidable at this point. Certainly Big Game Hunter is a better play. I don't think there's any question about it because you get to maintain your Brawl. If for no other reason, it's because you get to maintain your Brawl. So that play, like you said, it's just kind of, it's greedy, but I think it's just a mental misstep. I think he just honestly looked past it and didn't realize what was happening.
Yeah. Well, either way, that's going to be it. I mean, no matter what he does, he's dead here. So it doesn't really matter. He has the 6, plus he has the Leroy and the kill command. So he has 17 damage here, and he's going to be able to finish it off. So a well-played game there from Gnimsh. And you talked about keeping that mental focus, not getting negative, anything like that. Yes, it's extremely important. Can be difficult to do, though, when you just lost with your favorite deck, when you just lost, on the back of a silly mistake. So we'll see if he's going to be able to keep it together here and finish it off. And he could have obviously killed him with the kill command. He decides to do it just the exact amount of damage there with the steady shot. But either way, it's going to be a 2-1 lead here for Gnimsh. And Kitkatz down to his last deck.
Yeah, again, we were touching on just a blunder coming into it.